All right, guys, I'm here with Mr. Charlie Garcia. He is principal of Bel Air High School. And just tell me a little bit about yourself, quick bio.
Grew up in El Paso. I'm a El Pasoan, proud to be.
Yeah.
I grew up to the public school system, went to Cooley Elementary, Ross Middle School, Burgess High School. Then I transferred over to St. Edward's in Austin.
Yeah.
Came back home, and now I'm a principal. I've been a principal for 6 years, 4 at the high school, Bel Air High School, 2 at Camino Real Middle School down the valley. But I have a total of 19 years working with in education.
Cool. And you're the head principal there at Bel Air.
Correct.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So I wanted to get together with you, and we're friends, and we kind of like keep in touch. And I thought it'd be perfect for our members to understand, maybe from an educator's point of view, on what's happening. We wanted to discuss talking to kids in this climate, some of the stuff that you've seen or the districts are kind of telling you, and maybe use this as an educational or at least an informational for a lot of our parents out there who are now stuck home with their kids, wondering what's happening, you know, and it can be a difficult situation in many different aspects, you know. So I guess to start it real quick, well, what we do now is we do a 15-minute, as many questions as possible.
Okay.
We try to keep it short, try to and follow the clock, just like kind of in the gym. Clock keeps us honest, keeps us moving, and keeps us to finish on time. So we're going to start the clock. 10 seconds on the clock.
Let's see.
And then here comes the butterflies as we get to 5, and 3, 2, 1.
Yeah,
all
toe in the line. I love it. Sign me up.
All right, man. So I guess my first question is, what's the information you're getting from the districts right now? You're in Sleta District.
Correct.
So things are changing on a dime. Just this morning, you know, things change. So what are you hearing now?
Okay. First and foremost, I think I'm so proud to be part of Sleta Independent School District. I think every time I meet with my superintendent or my associate superintendent, the first thing they ask, and I think this would be the question we ask everybody now, is how are you doing and what can I do for you? I think first and foremost, that's what we need to be sending the message out to our kids and our families. We are on the verge, absolutely, we're going to have to pivot on a dime and head in a direction where in a lot of ways we have not been prepared for.
Right.
We're in the traditional public school setting, and we want to see kids on a daily basis. We want to have interactions. We want to shake hands. We want to give high fives. We want to have that direct connection with our kids and our stakeholders.
Yeah.
So in a matter of a week or so, we've had to really change how we work, and we've done some great work in that matter of time. We anticipate going fully interactive and online April 6th.
April 6th. So you're starting more education April 6th.
Correct. Now there's some schools that are already pushing it out there to our kiddos. But what we don't want to do is we don't want to raise more anxiety for our families and for our students. We do want to provide opportunities for them to continue learning and growing.
Yeah.
But the message we want to send also is that we care more for your safety. This is we want you to understand that not just the physical safety, but also the psychological safety is important. So we're working with our teachers, 150 teachers at Bel Air High School, más o menos, and having a virtual meeting, online with 150 folks and getting the message across on what we're doing. We're going to have patience.
Right.
And so that's another word I think that we really need at this time, a patient community, especially when it comes down to schooling your children at home. Yeah. We're all learning through this, yes.
So right now, do the kids, when they switch over, do a lot of the kids have the technology to be able to do things remotely, or are you providing that to them? Or?
Correct. You'd be surprised. We had a survey just at Bel Air High School, and over 90% of our kids had a device at home and Wi-Fi.
Okay.
And that's just from the students that responded. We have several of them that have recently purchased that equipment.
Okay.
Also, our district has provided one-on-one at the high school level to our 9th and our 10th graders.
Yeah.
So what we anticipate doing is having a traditional setting now through online instruction.
Okay.
And if we have to go do an additional closure, right? I mean, God willing, we'll be back with our kids, April 6th.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope
But
not.
it's feasible, right?
Yes, sir.
It's plausible.
It's possible, but if not, then absolutely we'd have to create opportunities for our kids to keep learning. Now, there's offline learning too. We can create packets for our students. That's the logistics behind that is a little bit more cumbersome. Where
A little daunting to do that,
correct.
right?
We would have to create them,
Yeah.
disperse them,
Yeah.
without having that social interaction,
Uh-huh.
and then possibly even pick them right back up.
Yeah.
But I think we have a solid game plan, and communication, Mark, is critical now that we set the right message out there, because we're not going to get an opportunity to be leaders during this time.
Right.
Right? They always say, may you live in interesting times, right? Well, we are.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, and it's untested. It's waters that we've never been in through.
Absolutely.
None of our generation has ever dealt with anything like this. So I think it's important to stay on top of things and be a communicator as a leader to anybody who needs that information. That's kind of what we're doing now. And so you said that it's just this time that no one's been through, and I've talked to young people who are either one, really scared about things, and they've heard, oh, this is the end of mankind, and then you also hear the ones that just are oblivious and just think it's just ridiculous. And how, as an educator and somebody who understands kids and understands young people, how do you communicate that as a parent to your young person? Like, what are some tips? I know everybody's different. I know that's really tough, and every young person's different. But what would be some tips from somebody with so much experience on how to communicate?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the most important questions that we've been asked recently is how do we share the dialogue with our students in the day and age where they have at their disposal the information themselves,
which is all over the place.
They can log on on their cell phones and learn about it.
Yeah.
My advice would definitely be depending on the type of family and the type of communicators that you have in that family.
Yeah.
Right. An honest dialogue about what's going on. Right. There's scientific facts that are out there on the virus. There's also a conspiracy theorists out there. But raising fear in our generations now would not be conducive later on. I think you have an honest discussion, and then you answer questions. You allow for a question-answer type of dialogue.
Yeah.
If you don't know the answer to it, you find out together. I think.
And how young do you? I have a 5-year-old, right? Like, I don't know what she hears. And she absorbs so much more than you even realize.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about that is like, does she need to know this? I know it's not your place to say. It's every parent's decision. But like, because I think once she goes back to school, she's gonna hear it.
Correct.
She's gonna hear those rumblings, and so I probably need to have a conversation with her.
I think. Maybe not a in-depth conversation.
Sure.
But I think a conversation about the changes that are happening. Obviously, she probably knows that there's been some changes, right?
Right. Yeah, she's home.
I walk into, in my opinion, the best gym in El Paso, and maybe in a lot of places, right?
Thank you.
I usually see so many people in here, and then sometimes I'm intimidated by them working out.
Yeah.
But I'm sure your kids, along as other parents' kids, are seeing changes in what's going on this week and maybe in the future. I think addressing it and taking this opportunity, because I always tell people, turn a nightmare into an opportunity.
Absolutely.
And so as parents, we're able to maybe reconnect, maybe and redevelop relationships with our kids in the best interest of the entire family. And so that means, yes, having honest discussions with them, and yes, you take into consideration the age levels of our kids.
Sure.
And then the social and emotional component. We know our kids. Some kids have anxiety. Some kids have, have a hard time dealing with change. Yeah. And I think you address those individuals in a different way than you would be a young man or young lady that is well versed and has shown throughout history to be able to adapt. Yeah. But I do think the conversation needs to be there in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, absolutely. That way you drive the narrative, right? Because there's just so much information out there and so available to any age.
Correct.
And so you have no idea what they're absorbing.
Yeah. And I'll give you an example, even as a principal and as a leader, I have to be very deliberate with my communication to my staff.
Sure.
because a school closure can mean a lot of different things to people. You know, I have people still, they're so competitive and so dedicated to what they want to do. They want to go back to work.
Yeah.
And I'm telling them I have to be very, very clear and use the right type of words and say, you know what, stay home.
Yeah.
Do not go, you know, social distancing, that
Right.
even word,
Right.
people are very confused by it.
Right.
So all you tell people, use words like stay 6 feet away from people, stay home when you can,
Right.
Eliminate large crowds, things of that nature I think are very important. And it's at the tip of our fingers if we want that information. Now,
Yeah.
you hit it right on the money. It's changing every day, every hour. And so just today, our mayor got on the you know, went on the media and he said that as of midnight today, we're going to be on basically a shelter in place or a stay at home.
Stay at home.
And so I always tell people we have to adapt and overcome, and sometimes even change our own ways of doing things. And I think that's also helpful for us. I think that'll help us create some real opportunities for us to reconnect, to get familiar with online learning.
Yeah, absolutely. We've done that, right?
Yeah.
So we've developed and had to completely shift our way of providing service to our members by all this online stuff, and it was forced us to do something we've been wanting to do for a long time, right? And so that's definitely an opportunity. And so my thing is focus on the work, not the worry, right?
Beautiful.
Focus on working to be better than when we came into this.
Correct.
And so somebody who has kids at home, young or old, and as an educator, I mean, do you have any tips on how to deal with trying to educate at home? What would those be?
I think we take, just like you would any schedule type of thing, we create a schedule for my kids to participate in active learning, right? And so having a time throughout the day, because they need schedules.
How old are your kids, by the way?
Gage is 17 and Jack is 13.
Okay.
And they're very different.
Yeah.
They're both awesome, but they're very different. And I'm enjoying, actually, I'm quite enjoying
That extra time.
the extra time with them, although I miss work and I miss my kids at
Yeah.
work. I get to see them a little bit more than they typically do. But
Oh.
have a routine for them in place. Let them know that it's valuable for them to read, to spend time writing, get familiarized with any of the type of online learning opportunities that their school is providing them. And then also opportunities for what you do. Is I call it the life fit mantra that we have at Bel Air High School, where it's not only about the academics, but it's also about the physical being, right? Getting active and being able to participate in physical activity is still important. Being able to participate in spirituality.
Right. Yeah.
There's a huge role for that right now, an opportunity. Now, depending on the household and what their philosophy is, that could be anything.
Sure.
Right? But I always give the advice to be life fit. And that doesn't mean be in the best shape. That's not what it's about.
Sure.
That's part of the puzzle,
Right.
be in the best shape you can. But ultimately, you want to be healthy, well-rounded type of person. And so by having a routine for your kids and then modeling that, right? Because it's easy, one thing to say it and then not to do it. And
Right.
being able to sit down yourself and
Right.
grab a book. You know, if you know, even for Charlie Garcia, who loves to read, I'm so active, and I can't be home very often because I'll start doing projects and stuff. I need to model that for my kids and really take some time, pull out a book, read it, and then continue learning.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, our school districts will be sending some additional tools, online tools for our kids to use. And the kids that don't have that online tools, our districts have done a great job of also supporting them with packets that they can continue learning.
Excellent.
But these are great questions, Mark. What I love what Elev8 is doing is I call it they're continuing moving forward.
Yeah.
And so the videos that you're posting online, I think I asked you for permission to share them on my social media because one, I want to support local,
Right.
and you're one of our brightest local people that I know. Not only a businessman, but you care about people.
I fooled you.
Yeah, oh, no, I believe it. But we want to support you. But we also want to do is spread the mentality that you can still continue moving forward regardless of the situation that you're in. And that's called resiliency. That's called grit. In a lot of ways, when people ask me, what is a leader, right? I think leaders the best leaders have a couple of things that they do. One, they have anticipatory acumen, which means they can kind of see in the future a little bit, and it doesn't take them long to react.
Right.
They can see what's coming.
Right.
They might not know the future,
Right.
but they can kind of, they're able to react faster than the most.
Right.
But then the second thing that stops a lot of people is they need to have a tolerance for ambiguity. You need to be okay not knowing if you're going to make it, not knowing what's going to happen, and adapt to those things. So I think this really bridges that for a lot of people, and you'll see a lot of people really stand out as leaders and people that serve our community, and you're one of those. So I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing and letting me share those videos, because I did the first one. Man,
Did you do it?
I struggled. I couldn't keep up with
They're
what's her
harder than you
name?
think.
The one doing the 5 pounds more or something.
Yeah,
I forgot her name, but
yeah. Which one did you do?
I did the first one.
The bottom one, or
no, the one before that one.
oh, the
Like
one with
6 days
Amy and Haley and
Correct.
okay.
Yeah, it was tough.
Kristen.
But I did it at home,
Hey, man,
and I'm
good
going to
job.
continue doing them every day.
Awesome. We appreciate that. Yeah, I think this is great advice. In fact, my wife is amazing. Amy, she's got mommy school. It's written on a whiteboard. We have whiteboards everywhere. You're a gym owner, right? Like everywhere. So it's written on a board, and she has time set out, and 2 of those times are PE, and Ella gets to choose like some of those subjects, and it's really worked, and she's kind of gotten on board. She's 5, she's not 17 or 13, which I think would be a little bit more difficult.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's great advice, and we really appreciate you for stopping by.
Of course.
We got to do one more thing.
Yes, sir.
As time runs out here. So I've been doing this with my staff a little bit, and anybody else I've interviewed, and we're going to play a little game.
Okay.
We're going to play a dad joke challenge. Okay.
Oh, I'm terrible at
dad,
jokes, man.
These are written for you.
Okay.
These are written for you,
You
but
have
you're
the answers
dad. And so there's 6 dad jokes here.
Okay.
And the goal here is not to laugh.
Okay.
Not to laugh at
Not
your
to laugh?
own joke, and not to laugh at the joke I tell you.
Okay.
We go back and forth, and you do one, I do one. And our goal is to sit here and not laugh at one of these jokes, and I need to make you laugh. But I can't laugh at myself. Are you ready? Do you want me to go first, or?
No, I'll go first.
You go first, okay.
Okay, let's pick.
All right, so here we go.
What's black and white and goes around and around? A penguin in a revolving door.
That's bad.
I got you.
No?
No? Okay.
No, that wasn't very good.
Darn it. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a good.
I didn't write these. These were printed out.
Okay.
You can blame Charlie for
Okay.
the
Come on, Charlie.
other Charlie.
Prince Charlie back there.
By the way, I've done this, so I have a little bit of practice. Okay, so don't feel bad if I'm really funny. So I've never gone to a gun range before. Decided to give it a shot. Shot.
Sorry, Mark.
Okay.
Sorry, Mark. Here we go. How do you make holy water?
How?
How do you make holy water?
How?
How do you make holy water? You boil the hell out of it. Yeah, I got you, man. Look at you. No? Yeah, I got you. There you go.
Hey, okay, all right. Education joke. 5 out of 4 people admit they're bad with fractions.
That one's good. That one's good. That one's good.
All right.
That one, Mark.
All right. The education joke. That was right up your alley.
Yeah, man.
Charlie. All right, you're next. We got
Okay.
2 more.
2 more. Okay.
2 more.
Let's see what I got here.
All right.
What about my glasses? I bought some shoes from a drug dealer. I don't know what he laced them with, but I was tripping all day. Damn it. Told you I'm not very good at
That's delivery, man. You need to work on
that.
that.
I know.
You need to work on that. It's not a lesson plan, but it's. Did you know that the first French fries weren't actually cooked in France? They were cooked in Greece. Greece, like the country, and
Sorry about that.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
You got it, brother.
Again, thank you.
You got it. God bless you, and
Yes, you too.
continue having success.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right.